Okay, let's see if we can't find the stream. Shouldn't be too far away, hopefully. There's the stream there. Audio is working. Yep, audio is working as it should. Stream's up, chat's up. We're all good to go. That is absolutely fantastic. Now, we'll just be waiting for everybody to ready up. And when the screen cuts to black, I'll start the intro as normal. And we can get this race underway. But attendance isn't looking too bad for this event in Silverstone. Thank goodness. 15 is not bad at all. I'm getting worried that maybe I had to start driving at some point. Attendance wasn't looking good. But it's turned around last minute. So hopefully, with the 15 drivers that we have, we get to see an entertaining race. Hello everyone and welcome to round 9 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at Silverstone Circuit, home of the British Grand Prix, hosting the first ever official round of the Formula 1 World Championship all the way back in the year of 1950. Silverstone has evolved tremendously over the years. What was initially a RAF airfield used during the Second World War has become not only one of the premier racetracks of Europe, but also one of the greatest racetracks of all time. The layout on which we race on today was created in 2011 and measured up at 3.66 miles and consists of 18 corners and 2 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Brooklands and Stowe. Outside of these areas, the drivers will find it difficult to overtake, as the circuit is quite notorious for creating DRS trains. Not that we're going to see too many DRS trains today. It is dry here in qualifying, but in the race, it's going to be wet weather conditions all the way through. But regardless, this means qualifying will prove to be incredibly important for achieving victory today. As a result, a car's setup will prove to be an important factor for extracting lap time. It's an obvious thing to say, I know, but here at Silverstone, the track requires the driver to strike a balance between downforce and low drag. There are several high-speed corners around the racetrack that require a lot of downforce. You've got turns 1 and 2, Copse Corner at turn 9, and of course the infamous Maggots, Beckett's Chapel S's in the middle sector. But there are also several long straights that require low drag. So those slight changes and differences in wing angle, ride height and tyre pressure could make all the difference when it comes to getting lap time in qualifying or giving greater opportunities to the driver to try and make overtakes during the race. Now, before we focus on this here qualifying session, there is a bit of news to go through first from the previous round in Spa. Headset briefly disconnected there. But you may have noticed we didn't have a race last week. We weren't meant to be racing here at Silverstone for round 9 of the championship. We were meant to be racing in Suzuka, but attendance was so poor that the race had to be postponed. It has been moved into the break week between Monza and Hungary, so the Japanese Grand Prix will be the 12th round of the championship rather than round 9. So we should be racing at Suzuka just in a later time period. But still, some news from Spa. There was one incident report, and it was a doozy. We caught it on stream, that involved Bursey, Electric Blade, Scabney and Cam Tizzle. An incident between turns 12 and 13 where Bursey was found ultimately at fault. He was given 20 seconds worth of time penalties and 4 penalty points for that incident. But Electric Blade was also found at fault for violating Rule 6.8.3 of the racing regulations, and I'm going to assume that's going to revolve around himself disqualifying himself during that race. He has been given a qualifying ban. I'm not sure if he served that yet, or I'm not savvy. Oh, and again, Burzy just not paying attention. Is that Blade? No, it's Cam. He's hit Cam Tizzle at the final corner, and he's been given a 5 grid place penalty for collision. So, dearie me, Burzy has not learned his lesson, it seems. After what happened at Spa, he's done exactly the same thing here in this qualifying session at Silverstone. I'm sure Cam isn't at all impressed about what happened just there. But with Burzy's time penalty from Spa, it doesn't actually move him any position. He was too far in... was he too far in front, or was he the final finisher? He might have been the final finisher from the race at Spa, so he doesn't actually move position at all. As a result, the final finishing positions of everyone in that race remain completely unchanged. In the Drivers' Championship, Barmer 22, who was absent for today's race, is leading on 155 points, followed by Bamu on 142, who is also absent. Electric Blade is next on 72, followed by Darth Vader, who is here for today's race. It's been a little while, but he's here. He is still 4th in the championship on 53 points, followed by Burzy on 43, Switchback on 34, Cam Tizzle on 32, Saint on 20, Elite Game Boy on 16, as around goes Vader, and Stubbly completes the top 10 on 15 points. In the Constructors, Red Bull are leading on 209, followed by Ferrari on 185. Haas are next on 112, followed by Alpine on 86, Williams on 67, McLaren on 76, followed by Williams on 67, then Aston Martin on 43, Alfa Romeo on 28, Mercedes on 24, and AlphaTauri at the bottom of the table on 14 points. But that's it. In terms of news, we can now focus on this qualifying session. And at the moment, it is KD, a reserve driver for this race, at the top of the board with a 1 minute 27.634. Got a couple of drivers on invalidated laps, got some on flying laps. Stubbly, who finished on the podium in the previous round at Spa, be looking to continue that form here at Silverstone. Coming out of Chapel, heading on to the Hangar Straight, DRS open, heading towards Stowe. It's a big braking point here. Braking at the 50 board, bringing it down to 5th gear, then back on the accelerator. Shifting up to 6th gear, 7th gear, heading towards the Vale chicane, down to 3rd, then clipping both apexes here through 16 and 17, then heading around Club Corner, the final turn on the racetrack, and Stubbly will do a 28.1. He goes second quickest alongside KD on the front row. Graham jumps up to P3 with a 29.1. He is 1 second off the pace of Stubbly, who is half a second behind our current pole sitter KD. Harris making his way through the middle sector, heading up towards the infamous Maggots and Beckett's S's. Through Maggots, turn 10 through turn 11, then into the left of turn 12, then through 13, which is Beckett's, then through Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. He'll open DRS, shift it into top gear, and head towards Stowe. Entry speed of 202 miles an hour indicated briefly there. Heading out of turn 15, then towards the chicane of Vale, from 7th gear down to 4th, back on the accelerator through turn 17, then around Club Corner, back onto the Hamilton Straight, and Harris will do a 29.3, 5th fastest for the reserve driver. Darth Vader out on track, Nortec out on track, same with Cam Tizzle. Chase on a flying lap attempt, making his way around turn 14. Now down the Hangar Straight towards Stowe. We saw 202 miles an hour from Harris. Going to see 200 on the dot from Chase in the Alfa Romeo. 3 corners remain for the reserve driver as we head through the Vale chicane in 3rd gear, nice and steady, clipping both apexes. He'll head around the final corner of Club to complete the lap. It's P3 for Chase on 1 minute 28.7. Cam's about to begin a flying lap. We're going to ride on board, give you a proper tour of this 3.6 mile racetrack. Down the Hamilton Straight towards Abbey, turn 1, 8th gear, just a bit of a safety lift through turn 1, through turn 2, up towards the village hairpin of turn 3. Third gear, keeping in third, up to fourth, just after the exit, heading around the loop, turn 4, then up towards Aintree, turn 5. Onto the Wellington Straight, we now head towards Brooklands, turn 6, probably the best overtaking spot on the circuit in both dry and wet weather conditions. Around Luffield, turn 7, third gear will he short shift, slight short shift at the exit of Luffield, through Woodcote, turn 8, onto the old pit straight, heading towards turn 9, the very notorious Cops Corner. Absolutely ridiculous corner. You carry ludicrous speeds through there, into Maggots, through turn 11, through turn 12, then Beckett's, turn 13, then Chapel, turn 14, back onto the Hangar Straight. DRS open, he's low on fuel, so he's going to try and complete this flying lap attempt. There is a McLaren right in front of him, either Nortec or Garvey, both reserve drivers for this event. Out of Stowe, heading up towards the Vale chicane, down to third gear, down to second in fact, short shifting back up to fourth gear through turn 17, and around Club Corner to complete the lap of Silverstone. It's P2 for Cam Tizzle, 3/10 off pole with a 27.9. Now KD, I know what he is capable of around this circuit. Seen him do a 27 flat around here. See if he can replicate that here in Cos. Around turn 3 into turn 4, down to third gear, keeping it third on the exit, up through the gears, through Aintree onto the Wellington Straight, 7th gear, shifted into top gear, heading up towards Brooklands now. Entry speed 198 miles an hour, the apex speed just under 100 miles an hour. Brooklands, ridiculously fast corner. Oh, in these cars, hello. That would be Grim or No Name in the Mercedes-Benz, spitting out at the exit of the right-hander. Up towards Cops Corner, 7th gear, back on the accelerator hard. It's absolutely ridiculous corner, Cops. I adore it. I also hate it at the same time. I adore it as a spectator. It's ridiculous seeing cars fly through there. As a driver, though, it's such a finicky corner to get it absolutely spot on. KD, meanwhile, is up by just under 1/10 of a second to the middle sector. So he's looking at a 27.5 right now. We'll see if he can find any more time here in the final sector. Just 3 corners left through the Vale chicane, nice and steady, then heading up towards Club Corner, back on to the main straightaway, and it's a 27.470. He improves by just over a 10th and a half, so he found even more time in the final part of the lap. I think Darth Vader will be going back into the pits. Warren is down by a second to the first sector. No Name, I don't think, is on a proper run. Garvey is up by... No, sorry. He's just finished his lap. He improved by 6/10 to go P8. Grim making his way through the first sector around Aintree onto the Wellington Straight. Up towards the first sector split, Grim will do a 27.8 effectively. He improves by a 10th and a half to the first sector. Around Luffield, turn 7. Then up towards Woodcote, turn 8, onto the old pit straight. Which used to be the pit straight before the track redesign back in 2010. Through Cops Corner, which you can imagine today, if that was turn 1, that would be absolute carnage on the opening lap. Through the Maggots and Beckett's S's. It's important that you nail every apex. And Grim nailed the curb cam there at turn 13. And he's up by a tremendous amount as well. Up by 6.5 of a second. Can he find any more time in the final part of this lap? Tidy run out of Stowe. Heading up towards the Vale chicane. Down to second gear. Keeping in second all the way through. Third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. Through the final corner up towards the line. It's a 28.4. Goes just in front of his teammate No Name in P6. Chase on a flying lap, making his way through turn 3, around turn 4. As he's steady on the exit, heading round turn 5 onto the Wellington Straight. Up towards the first sector split. Current PB is at 28.7. And he's done a 27.7 to the first sector. He's up by 3/10 to the first sector. Coming out of Luffield now. Nice and steady on the exit. Not bothering to use any curb on the outside there of Luffield. Up towards Copse Corner, 8th gear. Down to 7th, then back on the accelerator hard. Nice and tidy there from Chase. Now into Maggots through turn 11. Oh, and he's invalidated through the S's. Oh, that's such a frustrating thing to see. You know you're on a good lap, and you threw it away in the most technical part of the racetrack. You know you can do it so easily here in Maggots and Beckett's. The curbs are so flat, they're incredibly enticing for the driver to try and cut as much as you can. But if you cut just that little bit too much, and well, it's game over for your lap. Now he does have to be careful with time as well. We've only got 4.5 minutes left in qualifying. You can see flying laps around here take nearly 90 seconds for those towards the top. So an out lap and an in lap around this circuit, it does take a while. So you need to watch the qualifying clock closely. If you don't, well, you might get caught out by it. Cam is up by 1/10 of a second to the first sector. Makes his way out of turn 6 and around turn 7. Down to 2nd gear, short shifting up to 3rd, up to 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear, heading around Woodcote onto the old pit straight. Now Copse Corner. Chucks it in 7th gear. Very tidy, using just enough curb. Yellow's out as well. It's the future having a moment. Oh, hello. Oof. There's a Red Bull going through. That must be Warren, who's the only Red Bull in this event. Cam to the middle sector has lost time. He's lost exactly 1/100th of a second. Coming around turn 15, Stowe Corner. Up towards the final part of the lap, the Vale Chicane. 2nd gear, short shifts to 3rd. Does he short shift again? Yes, he does. 4th gear, 5th gear, around Club Corner, up towards the line. He improves by just under a 10th, a 27.8. Can anybody challenge Cam for that other front row spot? I think KD might be a bit too quick. He is well and truly at the front of the field with that 27.4. And I do know from experience he can go quicker. Warren making his way through Copse Corner. It appears that he is on a proper flying lap attempt here. Through the S's as Texas Tornado has joined. Oh, and an invalidation. Oh, dearie me. Cutting too much at turn 12. So easy. So incredibly easy to do. I've done it several times over my racing career here at Silverstone. It's so easy to do. Like I said, the curbs are so tempting. You want to cut as much as you can. But you cut that little bit too much, the game won't hesitate. No name, 3 corners left on his flying lap attempt through Vale. Nice and steady, clipping both apexes. Around the final corner, back onto the Hamilton straight. Improves by only 36 thousandths of a second. Not much of an improvement there, but an improvement nonetheless. Stubbly out on track, so is KD. He's making his way down the hangar straight. He's about to begin his final flying lap attempt. Garvey coming towards the end of an attempt here. Up towards the line. He does not improve. Stays P11. Cam Tizzle has retired in the pit lane, so that's qualifying done for him. Grimm on a flying lap, making his way through turn 1, into turn 2, up towards the village hairpin, turn 3, down through the gears, down to 3rd gear. Nice and steady on the accelerator, makes his way around turn 4. Very steady, very tidy from Grimm. Now heading down towards the first sector split. What does the clock say for the Mercedes driver? Says he's down by 27 thousandths of a second. Bursey on a flying lap as well, making his way up towards Copse Corner. KD on a flying lap himself, up towards the first sector split. He's down by 19 thousandths of a second. Bursey has bailed on this lap. He's running low on fuel, so that might be qualifying over for the Ferrari driver, and he will not stay P5. Remember, he was involved with a collision with Cam Tizzle. so he'll be starting at best P10. Grimm up by 73 thousandths to the middle sector, heading up towards Stowe. 206 miles an hour, the entry speed. Grimm must be running pretty low wings, running awfully wide as well at turn 15. That probably cost him time. KD, meanwhile, is up by 1/10 of a second to the middle sector. Makes his way out of turn 15, up towards turn 16. Down to third gear. Short shifts up to fourth for turn 17. Up towards the final corner now for our provisional pole sitter. Will he improve? Yes, he does. Only, though, by 17 thousandths of a second. Stubbly up by 36 thousandths of a second. If he wants to challenge KD for pole position, he needs to find 7/10ths, which is going to be a very difficult task. His teammate Darth Vader making his way down the old pit straight. For some reason the camera didn't change there, or had a couple of attempts at turning in for turn 9 there. Would have cost Vader time. There is a Alfa Romeo just behind this as well. Not quite sure who that is, making their way through the S's as I speak. It must be Chase, because Dingers is done. Vader's up by 1/10 of a second to the middle sector. Stubbly didn't quite catch it. So we'll keep our eyes on the two Haas's here, as well as Chase down in P11. He's the Alfa Romeo that's right in the middle of these two Haas's. Through turn 16, through turn 17, up towards the final corner, then crossing the line. It's a 28.1 P4 for Vader. Chase doesn't improve. Stubbly, just misses out on starting on the front row. 1 minute 27.849. He misses out starting on the front row by 16 thousandths of a second. I'm afraid no one was challenging KD for pole position. He's taken it here at Silverstone by a healthy margin as well of just under 4/10 of a second. Rightio. Interesting end to qualifying. Seems that Texas Tornado is going to compete in this race. So we have a 16 car field for this British Grand Prix. Just be waiting on no. I don't know why it's been doing that. Headset randomly just disconnects periodically. That's okay. Alrighty. Qualifying done and dusted. Say goodbye to the session and goodbye to a dry track. We're going to have wet weather conditions for the race here at Silverstone. But results from qualifying. We have KD starting from pole position, followed by Cam Tizzle in second, Stubbly in third, Darth Vader in fourth. Bursey qualifies fifth. He will not stay there. He'll start P10 for this British Grand Prix. Nortec will start P5, followed by Warren, Grimm and Dingers. No Name will start P9. Then Bursey, he'll start 10th. Chase, P11, followed by Garvey, Harrisplex, The Future, Texas Tornado joined mid-session, and Electric Blade had a qualifying ban to serve, so he'll be starting from the very back in 16th position. Race time. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first wet race that we've had all season. Sure, somebody could correct me, but I don't remember a wet weather race for this season in the AM1 Championship. So, a bit of a welcome change to see some mixed weather. You can tell the rain isn't anywhere near heavy enough for the full wet tyre, so it's intermediate conditions here at Silverstone. And funnily enough, I just did a race here at Silverstone as a commentator, and it was an intermediate conditioned race. You can do the entire race without a pit stop. You can go from the start to the finish on the intermediate tyre. The tyres are going to be pretty well worn by the end of the race, of course, but it is very much doable. So I'm sure some of the drivers will take that into consideration for this Grand Prix. If it's going to stay wet all the way through, how many drivers are going to try and do a no-stopper? I don't need telemetry, I need detail. Everyone on inters, everyone's on inters. So that's good to know. So we won't need much detail for the formation lap and for the start of the Grand Prix. This is all about surviving the first few chaotic laps in these conditions. It's so easy to make a mistake in these conditions, especially when you have a dry qualifying. You come in very loose when you're starting a wet weather race after a dry qualifying session, because you don't quite know where the grip is. You don't know how your setup's going to behave in these conditions. You now got a full race load of fuel in the car. So the car's a lot heavier. The tyres have got a lot more work to do. And now you have a lot less grip with the slick conditions on the intermediate tyre. It's just about surviving. It's not about pushing too hard at the start. Just get through the first opening laps, find your rhythm and build up from that. Of course, a few drivers might be game enough to try and make moves early on when the field's nice and bunched up, but you know, that comes with a big risk. If you go for that move, if you overstep the mark, you might cause an accident, or worse for yourself, you might lose positions rather than gain. So, I suppose what I'm saying is, in these opening laps, at least the first 4 laps, I'd say, maybe 3, it's all about damage limitation and finding your rhythm in these conditions. The leaders then making their way back round to the final part of the lap. KD, he'll be starting on the outside run to turn 1. He'll be starting on the racing line. Now, in these kinds of conditions, starting on the racing line doesn't make all that much difference. So, it's down to KD to make sure he gets a nice launch and make sure he leads heading into turn 1. That helps. Cam overshot his grid box. He's been reset back. So, there's a less of a chance that Cam is able to take KD at the start. Everyone's now lined up, ready to run. We've got 16 cars for this Grand Prix. We have 10 red lights. We're underway here at Silverstone. It's a nice start from KD. It's a nice start from Grim. He shoots through the middle to try and make up some places as we head into turn 1. Stubley moves up to 2nd. Cam down to 3rd. Warren up to P6, overtaking Nortec. As we head through turn 2, up towards turn 3. The Village Hairpin. Ding is making moves. Vader making moves. Spinning in the background. Oh my word, there's carnage at turn 2. I suppose this was only expected in these conditions. Several cars involved, both Alfa Romeos, Texas Tornado with damage to the front wing. He's down in 15th position. Cam Tizzle, Darth Vader battling, heading into Brooklands. Round the outside goes Vader. Cam tries to fight back round the outside of Luffield. Just behind them is Grim in P5, who had a terrific start from P7 on the grid. Making our way around Woodcote, up towards Cops Corner. It's KD who leads. Stubley 2nd. Then we have this battle pack. Vader, Cam Tizzle, Grim, DK Nortec in P6. So a few good starts here and there. Bersey up 3 places. He's into P7. No name. Oh no. A mistake. Damaged front wing as well. A completely destroyed front wing on that Merc. He's lost control through turn 9 and put it into the Armco barrier. Through Stowe corner. KD still leading. 6/10 is the gap. Darth Vader 1.7 seconds back. Steadily building a margin to Cam Tizzle. Grim right on the back of the Alpine. And try and find a way by. Well, minus the carnage at turn 2 and no name spin at turn 9. Everyone else has driven pretty cleanly on the opening lap. Oh, Grim, huge moment coming through turn 1. Lost grip periodically there. Managed to gather it up pretty damn well. Future running wide. Rejoins alongside Electric Blade, who goes around the outside. Oh, a bit of a wiggle though from both cars exiting turn 4 as the chase goes round the outside of the Future. Moves himself into P12. Ding is just behind as well. Can he find a way by? Burzy gets by Nortec. As the inside line through Woodcote, gets in front. Nortec can't fight that one, I'm afraid. Dingers does get by the Future. He moves into P13. Oh, a bit of a moment there from Warren. Lost control of the back end of the car coming through Copse Corner. But again, some of the other drivers I've seen so far, he's caught the slide pretty well. Has not lost position. Oh, but he's lost time coming out of Beckett's. He's now 4/10 behind Nortec in P7. Burzy applying pressure to Grimm as we head through Stowe Corner. Up towards turn 16. Through turn 17. KD, Stubley setting fastest times. Vader, setting fastest times as well. As Burzy having a little moment through Club Corner. Through turn 1, big understeer through 1. Through turn 2, he went onto the grass there. Want to stay off the grass, stay off the curbs. Stay on the black stuff. That's where the grip is. Around the loop. Heading up towards Aintree. Burzy making up plenty of spots on the opening few laps here of this British Grand Prix. The Future is given a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Harris has made up 4 spots as well. But Electric Blade has made the most out of anybody, up 5 positions from the start of this race. His next target will be Mr. Garvey in the McLaren. They'll push him up into the points. Biggest losers on these opening few laps. Dinger's down 5 positions. He was involved in that carnage that we saw at turn 3. And No Name spinning out at turn 9. He's now 37 seconds back. Realistically needs a safety car to try and save his race. KD hasn't been able to pull away just yet. The gap sitting at 0.6 of a second between himself and Stubley. And Vader is closing in. So we're going to have a 3-car fight at the front of the field as we head on to lap 4. KD sets a new fastest lap that's beaten by Vader as Stubley closes the gap. Through turn 1, into turn 2, up towards the village hairpin. Stubley is close, but doesn't go for a move. He's just going to try and apply pressure to KD here. Try and create a unforced error from the reserve driver. There is Vader, just behind, a little bit of a moment. And another moment again, and he just about saves it. Where's his teammate? Vader's closing in, not by enough though, to attack into turn 6. I thought Vader was going to get by, but it seems that the Lord of the Sith himself was not close enough to try and overtake his teammate. Now Grimm under a bit of pressure from Burzy, who's still trying to recover places after that collision incident in qualifying. We head up towards Copse Corner. Vastly different turn in wet weather conditions. It's a complete nightmare in wet weather conditions. It's just a nightmare in the dry. But in the wet, it's a complete nightmare. Tidy run there from Burzy though, out of the S's, dumping the battery as well. Grimm is a bit too fast in a straight line. 200 miles an hour compared to 195 from Burzy. That is a serious speed difference between the two cars as Blade tries to go down the inside of Garvey. Garvey, can he fight back? He'll have the inside line at turn 16, but he gives in. Blade moves through into 10th position. His next target will be Harrisplex in the AlphaTauri just in front as the Future pits in. Warren 3-second time penalty. The Future has elected to retire from the race. Our first retirement, a voluntary one. Not totally sure why we're so early into this Grand Prix. Only 5 laps in. No Name is still running out there after what happened on lap 1. 35 seconds back, and like I said, he realistically needs a safety car to get back into this. Well, okay, that was a pretty easy overtake. Down the inside goes Garvey. That's a less easy overtake. Yeah, Blade just got by down the straightaway. Maybe Harris had a moment while I wasn't watching. That was very strange. Chase trying to get by Harris as well. Harris is getting swamped here. Through goes the Alfa Romeo into P11. Copse corner. Oh, Chase absolutely nailed the apex there. Smashed the curb cam on the inside of turn 9. Through turn 11 and turn 12. Oh, a moment. Here comes Dingers round the outside, out of turn 14. So a drag race, Alfa Romeo versus AlphaTauri. Who's got longer legs? It appears to be the AlphaTauri. Down the inside goes Dingers at Stowe. They're still side by side on the exit. They're giving each other enough room. Harris has the inside line, but he gives in. Lets Dingers in front, moves through into P12. Good battling. Here's our leading trio. KD, reserve driver in the Ferrari, and the two works, or full-time drivers, of Stubley and Vader in the Haas's. All evenly matched right now. Stubley was putting on pressure, try and create an unforced error from KD, but KD has responded well. Chase a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. In fact, KD is starting to turn it on a little bit. The gap has increased to 8.5 tenths between himself and Stubley in P2. Cam Tizzle, P4. He's got 1 second to Grimm. Bursey is right behind him as we head through Copse Corner. Now towards the infamous X's of Meggetts, Beckett's and Chapel. 8th gear, down to 7th, down to 6th, down to 5th gear. Keeping it in 5th through Beckett's, then through Chapel. But look at the straight line speed difference. We'll bring up the telemetry. 200 miles an hour, 195 heading into Stowe. That 5 mile an hour difference is keeping Bursey in P6. Grimm pulling away in the key areas is allowing him to keep track position. But ultimately, he's losing ground to Cam Tizzle. He's now 1.3 seconds in front of the Mercedes. Down the straightaways, you can see Grimm closes in, but through the corners, just loses a bucket load of time that he just can't recover on the straights. Bursey needs to find a way through ASAP. It won't be easy. Can't do it in any of the regular overtaking areas because Grimm is just so quick down the straights as Warren gets a 3-second time penalty. I believe that's now 6 seconds next to his name. So Bursey needs to be a little bit patient and a little bit unorthodox. You need to find a bit of a random area to try and get through because you can't do it on the straights. Grimm is just way too quick on the straightaways. Head through Copse Corner. Can't overtake through here. Going side by side through there. Doesn't usually end well. Remember the incident between Hamilton and Verstappen there a few years ago. You just can't do it. See how much quicker Bursey is through those S's, but on the straight, look at that Merc pulling away. Straight line speed versus corner speed right here, right now, between Grimm and Bursey. It might not be the most entertaining stuff in the world, but it definitely is interesting to see the dynamics of two very different setup philosophies battling out on track. And it seems as well Grimm has responded. He is now 1.1 seconds behind Cam Tizzle, so this isn't over yet. Oh, Bursey is close. He looks, he shoots to the inside. Grimm will have the inside line at turn 4. Dives it in, covers the apex, parks the bus at the exit. Brilliant driving right there. Oh, Bursey a mistake at turn 5. Nortec not close enough to gain any sort of position out of it. But that was good driving there from Grimm. Just parked the bus after the apex at turn 4, making sure Bursey didn't get a run through turn 5 and onto the Wellington straight. Just very smart driving. But with that battle, the gap has opened up to 1.6 seconds between Grimm and Cam Tizzle here in P4. Tidy run there from Cam through turn 9. Just clipping the apex pretty nicely there. KD has started to put the hammer down a little bit. The gap has opened up to 1.2 seconds and Vader is closing in on his teammate. Through Stowe corner, turn 15. Down the hill, up towards Vale now. 3-second time penalty for Harris Flex. So some drivers getting penalties thick and fast in this Grand Prix, and we're only 8 laps in. Still got an awfully long way to go. 3.5 tenths the gap between Stubley and Vader. So we head through turn 2, up towards turn 3. KD losing a couple of tenths. The gap has shrunk back to within a second. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic to keep our eyes on with this top 3. And I can't help but wonder if 1, 2, or maybe all 3 of these drivers will attempt a no-stopper in this Grand Prix. So there's really only one way to find out. The gap sitting at 1 second between Cam and Grimm. Half a second is the gap between Grimm and Bursey. To head through Brooklyn's there's Nortec, followed by Warren and Electric Blade. Vader gets by his teammate, so Vader moves through into second position. Stubley down to third. The gap now sits at 1.6 seconds between the top 2. Can Vader get the hammer down and close the gap? Bursey 4 tenths behind. He'll gain a fair chunk through this section. Turn 11, turn 12, and 13. Again, closing the gap, but heading on to the straight. Oh, poor run there from Grimm through Chapel, costing him time, but he recovers. Look at that Merc driving away like it's nothing. Here comes Electric Blade down the inside of turn 15. He moves through into P8. Can Warren fight back? Oh, he almost makes contact with the Alpine. Unfortunately, nothing major happened from that. Blade moves through into P8. He's now recovered 8 spots in this Grand Prix. Bursey, 3 tenths behind. Not going for a dive bomb here at turn 3. You see Grimm just parking the bus. Impatient. Grimm getting a pretty good run out to turn 4 as well. Look at the Merc. A bit sideways, but he controls it well as Warren and Nortec get time penalties. Look at these fellas. Nortec with 3 now. Warren with 9, Chase with 6, Harris with 3, and Texas Tornado with 3 as well. Penalties galore in the mid-pack. It's well and truly a mid-pack as well. As Bursey, Grimm battling into turn 9. Bursey gets in front. Oh, and a moment from Grimm. Caught it well. But Bursey has an opportunity to pull away through the S's. Around turn 12. Through turn 13. You can see the understeer. The front end just does not want to turn. And I think Grimm has lost too much time through the S's to try and fight back here at Stowe. He has. Look at Bursey just driving away now. Oh, hello. Nortec tried to go down the inside. Why? That was never going to work. Tried to send it in. He got put onto the grass and now moves down to P9. He came out of nowhere to try and attack Grimm there. There's no way that was going to work. And that's what I mean. You can be risky. You can try and be aggressive in these conditions. But if you overdo it, that happens. You end up losing positions. And now he's lost another one to his reserve teammate. Here comes Chase round the outside. He loses 2. So battling up in P7, he's now down in P11. Just one little mistake when, in regards to a decision made, can cost you so much. And it's going to take forever for Nortec to recover those places. Silverstone is tough enough to try and make overtakes. In the dry, in the wet, it's next to impossible. 2/10 between Grim and Blade here. Heading around turn 9. Oh, big slide from Grim. Those rear tyres, they must be pretty cooked. Seeing him slide out of corners willy-nilly like that. And again, little moment. Blade having a small one himself. Dumping a bit of the battery, staying in the slipstream. There is Warren, he's starting to lose ground to these two. So this is the closest battle we have, other than Garvey and Chase battling for P10. Nortec is on the back of this too. 6/10 back to be exact. We really do have a midfield pack from Cam Tizzle all the way down to, I'd probably say, Harrisplex. Texas Tornado 6 seconds back is a little bit too far behind, but everyone else properly well bunched up in this mid pack. And then you've got the top 3 of KD, Vader and Stubley, and No Name still soldiering on, praying for a safety car at some stage. Vader has closed in too. Look at the gap. 6/10 between the top 2 now. So Vader's got to move on. Trying to close the gap. Try and challenge the race leader. Stubley has lost a little bit of time. He's now 1.7 seconds back. KD still maintaining the lead though. Doesn't have a lot of battery though. Under 10% compared to, well, 60% that Vader has. That might prove to be a fairly decent sized problem for KD to try and overcome. Into the pits goes Vader. He's going for an undercut. Interesting. So he's not planning to do a nose stopper. Cam Tizzle staying out, same with Bursey. Grim. Electric Blade, Warren, Garvey, Chase. Who looks? Oh, contact! Oh, dearie me. Why did Chase not back out of that? He was nowhere near enough alongside, and around goes Garvey. Oh, dearie me. Oh, and Vader tumbling down the auto. Oh, I forgot he went into the pits. I was going to say, what happened to Vader? No, he's in pit lane, stupid. But now he comes out in P12. Now, if the other drivers stay out and try no stopper, Vader has to make his way through this field. Now, Vader's got pace. He demonstrated that in the opening 12 laps. But making passes isn't exactly easy. Bit of a moment there from Vader. Garvey, I feel bad. Chase was nowhere near enough alongside to warrant any sort of move at turn 16. Didn't bother backing out of it, just sort of stayed half committed. The two made contact, and Garvey, well, he got the short end of the stick. Garvey lost control through 16, and then in his attempt to try and gather it back up, lost control again and put it into the grass. He's now down in 12th position. Now Nortec 8/10 behind. Can he do anything to try and close in on Chase? He's trying. He's dumping battery. As you can see, he's really trying to close in on Chase. Chase, with only 3% battery, is going to be quite vulnerable, as into the pits go the top 2. So they're not planning to do a no-stopper either. They're going to come in and put on fresh tyres. Now, I do believe the undercut works pretty well here, but traffic is going to affect Darth Vader's undercut. Keep an eye on this white dot. Harris is still in front of him. As we head into turns 1 and 2, where is KD? Where is Stubley? There is KD. And there we go. The undercut I think that... Oh, and an overshoot from KD! Never mind! Vader moves through into the lead. KD tries to fight back. He hits the Haas at turn 4. Vader moves through into 7th. That is the provisional race lead. If, of course, everyone in front stops. But how about that? KD had the race lead, but he overshot turn 3, allowing Vader to move through. Well, I'll be. I was going to say Vader's undercut didn't exactly work. He was held up by traffic. Well, fortunately, KD gave him a gift. Overshooting turn 3. Cam Tizzle is now our new race leader. But maybe not for long. Bursey's closing in. 2 tenths behind as we head through turn 15. Well, these two are staying out. Electric Blade is staying out. Warren, he stays out as well. Same with Chase, Nortec. And then we have the first of the stoppers. Darth Vader has the spin going. Not too bad at the moment. Race has been interesting enough so far. With these intermediate conditions, of course, it is a bit rare to see side-by-side action. Oh dear. We tend to see this chaos in these intermediate conditions. Texas Tornado, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But maybe strategy might play a part in this race. We've got drivers doing one-stoppers, but some drivers staying out. They might try and do a no-stopper. It could work. Oh, KDY, that's probably a warning. Favourite team? Well, don't really have a favourite team, if I'm being perfectly honest. I watch Formula 1 because I'm passionate about Formula 1 and motor racing. I don't really barrack for anybody. I just enjoy the racing. As the leaders are making their way through Maggots and Beckett's, heading up towards Chapel. Now Bursey, he's got a bit of battery. Cam has got a lot of battery. So Cam should be able to keep Bursey at bay as we head down the hangar straight towards Stowe Corner. Entry speed 195 miles an hour. Ridiculous speeds, even without DRS turned on. Oh, Bursey's going in, so he's not going to stay out any longer. That means Electric Blade will move through into second position. Some drivers going a bit longer on their intermediates. I can't help but feel that somebody's going to try and do a no-stopper. I would really like to see someone try it, because I think it might work a treat as Vader sets a new fastest lap. But there's the counter-argument. Fresh tyres give you so much pace. Yellow's out. That is Grim. Is it? Yes, it is. Grim doing some lawn mowing at the exit of turn 15. Rejoins down in P13. Does he have front wing damage? Well, this part of the front wing looks okay. Can I get a different angle, please, game? Thank you. His front wing looks alright. Here comes Garvey, though, down the inside of turn 1. Oh, it's tight. They get through. Grim keeps P13. Garvey ain't done with him, though. Down the inside, heading into turn 3. Gets the nose in front. Grim tries to fight back down the inside of turn 4. Tidy run out of the loop. Little bit of contact on the exit. Nothing intentional, of course. But Garvey moves through into P13. Cam under a little bit of pressure from his teammate Electric Blade. Though again, Cam has got a mountain's worth of battery compared to his teammates, so Cam's able to spend a lot of that battery down the straightaways to keep his teammate at bay, as Harris gets a 3-second time penalty. Will the leaders pit? No, they're staying out. Maybe the two Alpines are going to try and do a no-stopper. I'd be really keen to see how that works. KD still trying to keep this fight alive with Vader. He has been leading this race from the start until the pit stop period. Now, he would be our provisional race leader. He has set the fastest lap of the race. But he's made a mistake at turn 3, which let Darth Vader through. So these two on the same strategy. They have to make their way up through the field, try and get back up towards the front. Won't be an easy thing to do, I can assure you. Out of Aintree. Heading down the Wellington Straight. Bursey gets a 3-second time penalty. Yellow's out. Is that Grimm again? I think it is. It most certainly is. At the final corner. Well, it's getting from bad to worse for Grimm, unfortunately. Texas Tornado having a moment. Bursey now closes in. Heading down towards Brooklands. Not close enough here to do anything. But he might be able to gain time through this section, and it looks like he is. Around Luffield. Can he get an over-under maybe on Texas Tornado? Not quite. Oh, he's going to try and do something here at Cops. Surely not. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to go for a move at Cops Corner. That just doesn't work as Nortec gets overtaken by Vader. So Vader moves into P5. And so does KD. KD moves through. I think Nortec just backed off, got out of the way, let those two through. And he's staying out. He's going to try and make that no-stopper work. I think everyone else in front of Vader, that is Chase, Warren, Blade, and Cam, they're all going to try and make the no-stopper work. Through turn 1. Into turn 2 as Harris Plex goes into pit lane. Going to move off the inters onto another set of intermediates. The track will not dry up. There's not a hint of blue sky anywhere around the racetrack. Harris tumbles down the order, down to P11 outside of the points. Heading up towards Brooklands now. The gap sitting at 1.4 seconds between Vader and Chase. And around Luffield turn 7. KD now 1.3 seconds behind. Nortec in P7. He's got Stubley on fresh tyres right behind as Tornado gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Down towards Cops Corner. Oh, Nortec wide. And through goes Stubley into P7. 3.5 tenths separating the top two. Make that 4 tenths. Blade sitting in the slipstream. He's not trying to pressure his teammate. Trying to let Cam get on with it. Staying out for another lap. They are, so I have a feeling these two drivers are going to try and go to the end on those tyres. Vader is flying. He is catching up at a rate of knots. KD just behind as well. KD needs the traffic in front to hold Vader up so he can close back in. Through turn 2, up towards the village hairpin. Vader looks to the inside, dives it in. Contact, small amount of contact there at turn 3, but they both get through relatively unscathed. It's pushing Vader back into KD. The gap's sitting now at 7.5 tenths of a second. Dumping the back straight down the down the Wellington Straight, heading towards Brooklands. Now around. Oh, Luffield down the inside. Looks Vader. He's got the traction. He's got the nose in front. Will Chase try and fight back here? No, it's kind of yes, no, maybe. It's going to be tight here at Cops. Oh, Vader gets through. Tidy move there. Utilising the traction of those fresher intermediate tyres. There's Warren, Vader, Chase, KD. He now needs to find a way by Chase as soon as possible. Cannot let Vader drive away. Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Vader's now clawed himself onto the back of Warren. Into the Val chicane, 3rd gear. Short shifts up to 4th. Let's head out of turn 17, up towards Club Corner. Bit of a wiggle from Warren. Here's an opportunity for Vader. Trying to draw alongside, but Warren has got some straight line speed in that Red Bull. Might be a bit vulnerable heading into turn 3 though. Vader's got to run. Can't go for a move. Warren parked the bus at the entry to turn 3. Vader won't go for the move either at turn 4. Almost hits the Red Bull. Fortunately, he didn't. Warren a moment at turn 5 though, and a moment for Vader. Both drivers sliding through turn 5. As Garvey has left the session, Dingers gets a 3-second time penalty. KD has not found a way by Chase, and now Stubley's on the back of this. Oh, it's tight through Luffield. KD not close enough. Yellow's out. It's Bursey. He's in the wall. Damage on the front wing. So he'll have to make a pit stop to get that car fixed. Oh dear. Stubley gets by KD. Oh, it's tight through the S's here. Through turn 12, they're still side by side. Through turn 13. Stubley gets the nose in front and he's through into P6. Vader attacking Warren. Round the outside here at Stowe Corner. Warren trying to keep the fight alive. But Vader, with all the grip in the world, moves through into P3. Warren trying to look around the outside at 16. Turns to the inside at 17. Can't do much from that position. Vader moves through into P3. Only 2 cars left. And it's the 2 Alpines of Cam Tizzle and Electric Blade. Stubley now in front of KD. KD find it tough to get back by Stubley, I have a feeling. Stubley being held up a little bit by those on 20-lap old intermediate tyres. Into the pits goes Bursey. That's expected. He broke his front wing. He's actually retired from the session. He is done for the day. Around Luffield, turn 7. Stubley closing the gap up. Not by enough though. Oh, bit of wheel spin though at the exit of turn 7 as he applied the power. Through Copse. Tidy run, really tidy. Chase is wide. Here comes Stubley. Round the outside, heading into Maggots. And he moves through into P5. An audacious move, an opportunistic move, but he made it stick. A bit wide, KD there. Had to cut onto the grass. It cost him time. He is still stuck behind Chase. Meanwhile, the leaders making their way towards the Vale chicane. There is Vader on those fresher intermediate tyres. Around Club, back onto the Hamilton straight. It's now lap 22 of 26. It's 5 laps to go here in Silverstone. Through turn 1 into turn 2. Vader is close. He looks again. Looking left and right, try and find a way through. Stubley, Warren battling for position as we head around turn 4. Stubley, does he get the drive? Well, he kind of does. Tries to look around the outside of Aintree. Contact! And around goes Warren! Oh, dearie me. He tumbles down to P8. Oh, how incredibly unfortunate. And those tyres are going to be cooked, by the way. He's done 21 laps on those things. Those tyres will be properly cooked. Vader on the back of Blade. This battle between the top 3 is going to intensify. Out of Copse. Up towards the S's now. Through Maggots into turn 11. Through turn 12. A little bit wide there from Vader. Through Beckett's. He had to compromise the line through Beckett's. Make sure he didn't run wide. But look at Blade. He's got the straight line speed. He is providing the backup that Cam Tizzle needs to try and hang on to the race lead. Oh, contact through Stowe. Vader's got so much more pace through the corners, but he's got nowhere to go. He stays in P3 as we head through Vale and into Club Corner. Back onto the Hamilton straight. 4 laps to go at Silverstone. 3-second time penalty as well for Texas Tornado. Seems as well KD's moved by Chase, so he's into 5th position. Vader down the inside here at turn 3. It will turn into the outside though at turn 4. Blade trying to fight, but doesn't have the traction, doesn't have the grip. Vader's through into second. Look at that. The extra speed at the exit of the corner catapults Vader away from Blade. Blade can do nothing to help his teammate. It's now all down to Cam. Vader. He can set this up. He's got the laps. He's got the grip underneath him to try and make a move. He doesn't need to be rash. You can think about it. Make the right move at the right time. Chase a 3-second time penalty. He now has 12 seconds next to his name. Yellow's out. Is that... It's Garvey. Is that the AI, I'm guessing? It looks like the AI of Garvey. And Harrisplex, I'm guessing. Here comes Vader. Does not have the straight line speed to battle the Alpine. As we head around Stowe, Cam hangs on to the lead. Vader's got all the grip in the world though. He's got battery to play with. Cam defends the inside line through turn 16. Does a very nice job through the Vale chicane, keeping Vader at bay as we head around Club Corner and back onto the Hamilton Straight. 3 laps to go. Big lift there from Vader. He doesn't want to attack into turn 1. Like I said, he can plan this out. Oh, a bit of a moment through 2. Looks down the inside at turn 3. Cam leaves the door open. They're side by side heading towards turn 4. Vader fires it round the outside. Cam gets good enough drive to try and fight down the inside at turn 5. Now a drag race down towards Brooklands. Cam's got speed, so does Vader. Looks to the inside heading into Brooklands, but doesn't have the grip. Oh, but Vader runs wide. He runs wide. He has to park the bus a little bit here through Luffield. Gets the traction on the exit though, and he pulls away. Darth Vader, our new race leader, with 2.5 laps to go. So what can Stubley do then? Can he catch up to Cam? Make this a Haas 1-2. I don't think Cam is able to battle Vader now. Vader's going to pull away through this S section. 5.5 tenths. 6 tenths is the gap. 6.5 tenths. Vader is driving away. But what about Stubley? Yellow's out. That's Texas Tornado spinning. That's at turn 4. KD now closing in on the back of Electric Blade as well. Heading up towards... Oh, down the inside at 16. And he pulls it off. Fantastic move from KD there. Broke deep, down the inside, moved through into 4th. Though I'm sure Electric Blade will be pretty happy with 5th after starting from the very back of the grid. Stubley now has to get by Cam. Could this be a dream day for the Haas F1 team? Stubley trying to go for a move here. Cam covers the inside line through turn 5 onto the Wellington Straight. Look at the battery that Stubley has. He's dumping it. Cam defends the inside line. Heading into Brooklands now. That extra grip pushing Stubley in front of Cam Tizzle. He has the inside line through turn 7. He moves through into 2nd place. Cam has a puncture. He has a rear left puncture on his Alpine. A collision between him and KD. KD moves through into 3rd. His intermediate tyres could not last. A puncture with 1.5 laps to go. He tried to get those tyres all the way through the race. They just could not hang on. His teammate now moves into 4th. KD, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Oh my word. Blade? Blade? That's Blade. He has the same puncture as well. A rear left puncture on the Alpine. Both Alpines have a puncture. Oh my goodness me. What was looking like a double points finish for the French out. Oh, Blade's going to try and stay out. He's going to try and finish on 3 wheels. Cam's going to try and do the same. Nortec is going to come at them like a bat out of hell. He's going to have so much more pace. His tyres are still inflated. They're 24 laps old though. So he must be just a little bit worried. Cam defends the inside line through one. He can't do anything though. There goes Chase, but he has a mountain's worth of time penalties next to his name. Off the road. Who's that? Is that Texas Tornado? I think that is. Grim. No, it's Grim. 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. A puncture for Chase! A front left puncture on the Alfa Romeo! All of the tyres are giving in, except for Nortex. They're still going. They're still inflated after 25 laps. What about Warren in the Red Bull? His tyres are still inflated. Dingers? Yeah, his tyres are still going too. That's because they're 12 laps old. I thought they were 25. So, Warren we have to keep an eye out for. Same with Nortec. His tyres are still running. Just drama on the final lap of this British Grand Prix. But what a fantastic battle towards the end of this race. Strategy playing out perfectly, providing us with some great battles. But what a moment for the Haas team today. A fine performance from both Stubley and this man right here. It'll be Darth Vader who wins the British Grand Prix. Stubley will come home in a fine second. KD will complete the podium places in third. Oh, and Stubley gets fastest lap as well. Nortex tyres, they're going to hang on. No, they don't! Oh, with 3 corners to go, he punctures. But I think he secured himself 4th place because of this. Better the late, I suppose, in these circumstances. Warren's tyres stay inflated, but he's got so many time penalties. He's not going to hang on to any position. It'll be Dingers who finishes in P6. Cam will finish P5. Blade finishes with P7. Several cars finishing with only 3 wheels inflated. And Harris, oh, he will not. Well, actually, he will. The AI of Garvey won't be counted in the final results. So it'll be Harris who completes the top 10. I don't think Garvey will be included. So his AI comes home in 10th position. Then it'll be Grimm, who had, ironically, a pretty grim race. Texas Tornado was finished in P14. Then it'll be No Name, who had that incident on lap 1. Didn't get the safety car to try and revive his race. So he finishes well down the order in 13th. Electric Blade given driver of the day. No surprises there. Started from the very back, finished in 7th. But it looked like it was going to be a top 5 before the final lap when drivers had punctures that ultimately held them back. But what a performance from all 3 of the drivers on the podium. Vader, our winner, 2nd place to Stubley, his 2nd podium in a row after Spa. And KD completing the podium places in 3rd. The unofficial results of the British Grand Prix. Darth Vader is your race winner by 2.3 seconds over his teammate Stubley in P2. KD completes the podium places in 3rd. DK Nortec finishes in a fine 4th, followed by Cam Tizzle in 5th, Dingers in P6, and Electric Blade in 7th. Chase P8, followed by Warren in 9th, then the AI of Garvey 10th, followed by Harris Plex in 11th, Grim 12th, No Name 13th, and Texas Tornado in 14th. 2 retirements in the form of Bursey and the Future, both of them voluntarily retiring in the pit lane. Well, what a weird, wacky, upside-down roller coaster race we've had here at Silverstone. Typically in these wet weather conditions you aren't expecting much, but we certainly had plenty of drama, plenty of strategy, and plenty of good old-fashioned racing here at Silverstone. Wow. That was That was something. Yep, a few other drivers did the same thing, Ken. I think Chase did the same thing. Nortec did the same with only 3 corners to go. His tyre, front right, punctured. Was there somebody else? Maybe Warren punctured as well? No, I think Warren got to the end. He just had so many time penalties that pushed him back. But, yeah, a few drivers had punctures on that last lap. I'll give you guys credit. Almost made it to the end of the race, and it looked like, at least for the Alpines, that was going to be a top 5 for both cars, and that would have been big for the constructors, but yeah, ultimately it didn't quite work out. What was big for the constructors, though, is Haas. Big points, 1-2, fastest lap as well. Just, yeah, you couldn't really ask for a better race session than that for the Haas team. Absolutely fantastic. So well done to both Vader, our race winner, and Studley coming home in P2. Congrats to KD as well, final podium spot in P3, and also congrats for getting pole position as well during our qualifying session. But yeah, what an event. That was quite that was quite insane for a wet weather race. It's probably one of the better wet weather races I've seen in some time. Typically they are rather dull, dreary, slow pace, but today we had some action, we had drama, and we had strategy. Good strategy games being played. It was absolutely fantastic. But I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 10 of the AM1 Championship at Circuit Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.